Hey guys, my name is Adam. I'm known as Love Weebrew on some of the gaming forums like Assembler Games. And today I'm going to show you my basement bar Mancave area. So we come up to the basement door, and when you come in, you go down the steps. You see I have some stuff on display. Just some random stuff there. I've got Lord of the Rings gift packs. I also have Star Wars action figures. I generally only collect saberists, so anybody who uses a lightsaber, I try to get. So once you come down into the basement, you'll see this. This is just a utility room. Here you've got a bathroom with a pretty nice shower. Probably the best shower in the house, surprisingly. Come out, there's a beer pong table. You turn to the right, and there's all my gaming stuff, my TV, big wraparound couch. So let's go over and check out what I've got. It's a little dim over here, but you should be able to see enough. Got GameCube and Atari 2600. I don't have them hooked up. I use emulators for all that stuff, all those games. I also have a Sega Saturn. Has a mod chip. It's actually dead. It died on me a few days ago. I've tried to tinker with it with no success. So I have there's a member on Assembler Games that's making, well, he's not making a Saturn, but he's modding it for me. And he's gonna send it to me here soon. Down here, my PlayStation 1, my original PlayStation with PSIO. It's the beta. I was part of the beta, so I got to have it early. I was one of their earliest supporters, so I'm very happy with it. It's been really good. They have released a couple of firmwares to address some of the problem games, and also to address, what was it? Oh, multi-disc games. So there's my Sega Dreamcast. It's one that plays burned games. So there's my Wii with the 750 gigabyte USB hard drive. For my Wii games, I also use it for my GameCube games. It is modded, which is why I have the hard drive on it. I also use it for my Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, Game Gear, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Atari 2600 and 7800 games. So I use it to emulate a lot of stuff. Here's my original Xbox. It's nothing special, it's just a normal Xbox. I do have the HD audio video pack for it. So I do get Dolby Digital and DTS surround sound with it for games that will use it. Here's my Denon receiver. It's an AVR 2807. It's an older model, but I bought it. It was still in the box. It had been opened, but it was essentially new. So I got a pretty good deal on it. And the reason I chose this model was because it has lots of S-video inputs on it. And so that's what I use for Dreamcast, the N64, the Saturn, and the PlayStation 1. I use S-video. And the receiver outputs in HDMI. I don't have any of my consoles RGB modded. It's a little more hassle than I want to deal with. And S-video, it doesn't look bad on my TV. The Sega Dreamcast has some grainy picture, and I'm just not sure if it's a cheap cable or what. So I may get like a VGA box, and most of them have an S-video output on them. So I may try that. And then here, my Nintendo 64. Again, it's just a normal Nintendo 64, normal color. For my Nintendo 64, I do have an EverDrive 64 for it. So, wonderful device. I have all the games that were released in North America on here. Right next to the N64 is my Wii U. And the gamepad for it is right there. My Wii U is not hacked. I guess it's really the only system I have down here that's not modded. It is 5.4 firmware, so I could mod it if I wanted to. I just haven't really got around to it. And to me, it's kind of a pain to have to redo the exploit every time. So I'm hoping eventually there will be an exploit that stays permanently on there. So it's kind of more of a convenience thing for me. There's it's just a cable box, a DVR. Here's my PS2, which is also modded. I have a 500 gigabyte IDE hard drive in it, which I also forgot to mention. My original Xbox, I also have a 500 gigabyte IDE hard drive, and it has probably 120 games or more on it. But the same size hard drive in this one. I'm not sure the number of games. I'm sure it's 100 or a little more. The neat thing about my PS2 is there's lots of custom Guitar Hero 3 games on it. Most of them I've downloaded, but there are 2 games on there that I made myself. I downloaded charts and songs and used something called Build GH3 to essentially make a custom game. And in one of those custom games, I replaced a lot of the images. So it looks pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of my little creation. It's not hard to do. It's just time consuming. You have to sync up all the songs and whatnot. But I'd say I've probably got maybe 20 to 25 custom games on here. So it'd be really hard to run out of songs to play. So up above it is the PS3. It's also modded. It has a 1 terabyte drive. I think I've got about 55 games on it. It's hard to get many PS3 games on there. They're so big as far as file size goes. Above the PS3 is my Xbox 360. You can see I added a couple of fans on the side because it is an old Xenon and it has Red Ring of Death. Before I bought it, actually, Red Ring of Death, and somebody on Craigslist repairs them. So I had him fix it, and I also had him JTAG it because whoever had it before had not taken it online, evidently. So I'm trying to, and I have the fans set to 100%. So I try to keep it cool, and and obviously it's modded too. I've got a 1 terabyte drive in it. I got some games on there. I haven't fully loaded it yet, so there's still more games I want to put on there. Above that, you got the Ouya on the right. It's not hooked up because, well, it's the Ouya. I've got some Wii U games there. I've got a random PS3 game. I keep it in the drive because I know Multiman used to have better compatibility with the disc in there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's the case anymore. I haven't messed with my PS3 for a while. And above that, there's just a random Mario figure I've had for a long time. I've got 2 amiibos for the Wii U. There's a PSP. It is modded, and it has a 32 gigabyte memory stick in it. It's got games on it. Come back over here. Again, there's the EverDrive 64, Super Mario Brothers Wii, because I used that as soon as newer Super Mario Brothers Wii came out. I wanted to play it. I didn't want to wait for somebody to create an ISO of it. So I used that with Revolution. And here's burned Sega Saturn games and some burned Dreamcast games. Also a couple of legit games. I do have 2 copies of Geist Force, so sealed copies. I'm too afraid to open this one up. And then here is a speaker. There's another speaker over there. And there's a center speaker here above the receiver. And of course, 2 behind us there on the couch. It's the 5.1 Monoprice Premium set. And I think it cost me a little over 200 bucks, and it's well worth the money. It's a very good set for the money. So I'm very happy with it. And then down here, you notice on the TV I had music playing. It's coming through my Fire TV. It's a Generation 1. And next to it is just a switch box for some of my component outputs on my consoles. And I'm using a Spotify app. I actually run Kodi on it, formerly known as XBMC, which I don't really need to go into that much. I'm sure you all know what Kodi is. So, TV shows, movies. I have a server in that room there. And I've got about 540 movies on it. I've got a few TV shows, not much. And I do have some music on the server as well. So I can watch a lot of HD movies and stuff out here, which it's still, if it's not on my server, I can still use like Exodus or Velocity, some of these add-ons, third-party add-ons, which allow me to watch stuff online. So I'll actually show you the server. Okay, so this is just another utility room. And the server's over here when you walk in. It's running Windows 8. I didn't really need a server operating system. I just put Windows 8 on it and essentially enable file sharing, and that's good enough for me. That's all I need. I don't have it in a RAID. I've got 2 4 terabyte drives in it, and I've got a 500 gigabyte drive that runs the operating system. And I also have a gaming PC upstairs, so whatever I put on my server, I back it up by either putting it on my PC upstairs, or I have a few external drives that I put it on, so everything's backed up. So even though I don't have a RAID, I'm still making sure that I don't lose all my movies, and it's also where I store all my games, game rips, and that sort of thing. And if you follow it, Cat 6 cable over here. Oh, excuse me. I have a switch, and you can see my patch panel there. I actually ran Cat 6 cable throughout my house, so you can see the bundle of Cat 6 cable going up. It actually goes up out into the garage and then into the attic, and then goes throughout the house in all the bedrooms and in the living room. And I also have 4 that come out here in behind the TV. And there's another room down here that I need to run Cat 6 cable to. The issue is the ceiling down here is not tiled, so it would be difficult to try to snake it all the way over to the room. So I'm essentially going to have to put cable raceway on my wall in the basement to get it over there. So it won't look as good, but it won't look too bad either. So we'll come back out here. And the TV, TV is a Samsung LED TV, and it is 60 inches. So it's pretty good size. And also there's my Game Boy Color hanging up on the wall. It does work, but I don't use it because I use the Wii to emulate those games. And there's the sub for the system. It's a pretty good sub. Here's a shelf. It's more of a temporary solution. I put all my controllers on it. The plan is to eventually, once I get these basement walls painted, I'll get some of the wall clips that you see. You see, you know, retro gaming rooms and stuff, and people hang their controllers on the walls. And I'd like to hang them up over here, around the door and on this wall here. so that way it's a little more practical. They're good as decoration, but they can also be used. So come back over here. Here's my air hockey table. I've got cinder blocks on it. I'm trying to flatten it out. It's in pretty rough shape. You can kind of see the bumps on the glare of the light there. It has water damage. It was only 50 bucks. I took a chance on it. I'm trying to flatten it out, maybe refinish it. I really wanted this one because it has electronic scoring and it's 8 feet long. If I can't get it to work very well, I mean the air works on it just fine, but if I can't get the playing surface in good shape, then I'll just scrap it and buy another one. It was 50 bucks, so I'll just chalk it up to a loss. So, and then out here, that actually goes downstairs, or I'm sorry, that goes upstairs to outside. So that's where people go to smoke their nasty cigarettes and stuff. So anyway, here's the bar. And let me back out a little bit here. At least that's part of the bar. And then here's the other part of it. Now, you can see you got the big rock wall right here. Where these squares are for the actual bar, there's 3 of them. There's one there, and there's one there, and one here. This was actually drywall. So this was an actual room down here that the previous owners had built, but it was so tiny, so small. It just wasn't practical for anything, really. You could put storage in it, I guess, or you could put things in it, I guess, but it just was not a very good space. And I wanted a bar down here anyway, so we essentially gutted the room, and we took the door off, the doorway there, and we turned it into a bar. We turned the room into a bar. So I wanted to come over more on that one, have it come over a little more, but where this comes out of the wall, there's plumbing there, so it would have been a much more costly procedure. So I think, you know, there's 4 stools over there, there's 3 stools here, and, you know, there's a leaning bar top here. So you could essentially have 8 or 9 people around it anyway. So it's good enough anyway. But so yes, we had the walls cut out. We got the bar tops and the cabinets over there, which you can see, and I'll show you a little closer. And then we had somebody put actual stone on the outside. So me and my wife were very happy with it. I think it looks really good. And of course we got some stools to kind of match it. But I'll show you the inside of the bar a little bit. Turn the light on here. As soon as you walk in to the left, you have a wine rack. Doesn't have much wine on it right now, but it's there. Fridge, like every bar should have, and freezer. The ice maker doesn't work. This is a dry bar. It would have, again, cost more to run plumbing over here. But bags of ice takes care of that. Here's a closet that was in the room. We haven't really done much with it yet. I've put a couple of coolers in there, and we could probably put extra beer and liquor. So, and over here you've got the cabinets. They match the bar tops. Above that, I've got my bar lighting. So it's essentially 3 steps. It changes colors. You can do a lot with LED coloring on it. And above it, nice bar mirror. When they installed it, they had it closer to the cabinets, and I moved it up because it looks a lot better now. So, and we went with ceramic tile. There was carpet in this room, but it looks like old wood, so it gives it a nice rustic look to it. And inside the cabinet here is just your typical bar stuff. Stuff there to make jello shots. And in here you've got all the glassware, and shot glasses, wine glasses, etc. Now, this bar isn't complete. You can see the baseboard, there's a pretty big gap to the floor because, like I said, it was carpeted. So I need to run some trim, some kind of trim. And I also need to run some trim on the inside around the stone here on all three of them. And also run some trim under the bar on this side because you can see where the drywall was cut. So, and once we get that done, I'd say it's pretty well complete in here. There's a bottle opener. And I'd like to get me a nice table that would kind of match the color of the cabinets and the bar tops. Because, you know, there is some extra room in here. And this table's good. When we had a party a few weeks ago, you know, we put all the food and everything else on it. So it works out really well. But we just need a better looking table to go with it. So we're pretty happy with it. Turned out really nice. We're gonna get rid of that fan fixture and put just the light fixture. And also next to that window, you probably can't see it, there's a cable outlet, cable jack, and I'm gonna put a TV behind where the fan is, up above the fridge. So, and there's a sign that my parents had made for our bar. And if you come over here, there's a room next to the bar. We haven't done much with this room yet. Right now, there's just a table and 4 chairs in here, and that's pretty much it. There's some stuff in there for storage. But we're gonna we're gonna eventually get like a nice poker table, you know, tabletop gaming kind of thing, and just a really nice table, I guess, and put board games and card games and dice games in here and make it that kind of room. So if you don't want to play video games, if you don't want to play electronic games, you can come in here and play a more, you know, physical game, or like Twister, or, you know, you can play a dice game, you can play poker, anything like that. Cards Against Humanity, that's always a favorite we like to play. So not much done with it yet, but we're getting there. Everything's a work in progress. I don't think anybody's ever 100% done with their man cave. And I also need to run Cat 6 cable in here as well. So further improvements. Eventually I need to repaint these walls. I kind of like the color, but like you can see, there's spots on the walls and there's little holes, and I'll probably try to match it more to the color of the rock as well. So maybe get some curtains for those windows. I need to get the ceiling painted because there's spots on it like that. And I'll probably take a lot of my games and game cases and essentially kind of line the top parts of the wall. So kind of go all the way around down here in the basement, like and above the door frames, and just for decoration, you know, and have some game cases and gaming stuff ran all through here, and just to kind of give the place some decoration, because that's what it's really lacking right now. We've got some good stuff down here, just not much as far as decorating goes. I'd like to get a couple of arcade games. That's a plan of mine. Get a couple of slot machines, maybe a foosball table. Once I can get those controllers put up, get a dartboard and put it over there. You know, anything else that you would think of in a man cave. Any other kind of, you know, it'd be great if I could find a skee ball machine for cheap, but good luck with that. And of course, you know, we already got the beer pong table here. I think that's about it. I'll update with a new video if I have some major changes. So thanks for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed my man cave, my basement.